Welcome, my people, to my YouTube. We're gonna start over here producing. I got this song over here, so we're gonna jump in it just to give it a listen. And over here, you can see the bass pattern. This is the bass pattern. You see? Find the other sounds over here. On this side, you got volume. How much do you want? So pretty much this is all creating sounds and pretty much arranging them in a way that makes sense for the whole song to work. And how we do this is it's fairly simple. It takes time and practice to like own it, like anything. Got my folders here, right? So I got one folder for instruments, which would be all these. And if I solo this, you're gonna hear only the instruments. Right? But if I go over here into drums, you're also gonna do the same. Just the drums. You're making it a whole part of a song that works together in a frequency spectrum. If you have everything too loud, you don't have space to put anything in. Over here, I started with this sound, right? And then eventually you start creating your own form of that instrument. And then you see you kind of mash it up and turn it into different ways that can work. Reverse it, slow it down, double it, right? It starts becoming pretty much alive. I made this sound, right? I called it pluck sound round. And I'm gonna open the sound because this is a synth called Serum. It's very popular. And I started making this sound with this saw wave. And then I got a different wave and mixed them together, put a filter on, put some effects, and it ends up sounding like, right? And if you keep it sustained, it sounds different. So this sound is made on purpose pretty much because that way I can use it two different ways. I can use it as a short note, wait, or I could keep it pressed. I arranged it. I started drawing it in a different rhythm. I think it sounds really, really cool. And it adds a little bit more of a lead toward the song, like a little bit of a, let's say melody, or let's say like a direction, right? It's kind of creepy. It's kind of evil. And if you play it with the song, I'm gonna play it with no drums, right? It adds a little bit something more interesting than not playing. That, like that, don't get me wrong, that sounds really cool, but it doesn't sound as cool with this. And then you can like beef it up. You can like make it yours, make it more interesting, make it different. I'm gonna actually change this lower note because I don't like where it sounds over here. So I'm gonna just do shift up or down to change it of octave, right? And the octave would be 12 notes from the piano. And if you see a piano, I'll show you real quick. See a piano or a keyboard? You can see that it has, this one is 49 keys, right? Let's say my note is over here. This would be C, right? If I go all the way down to the next C, which would be over here, that would be a full octave. It would be the same sound, but vibrating twice as fast or slow, right? what I'm doing right now is pretty much fixing the notes. So I already played this yesterday, and I like how it turned out. Like I like the notes, but sometimes it's not really perfect how you play it. You don't want it to be perfect. Why? Because it's not really human to be perfect, right? So being perfect means that it will be exactly over here in the grid, right? Over here on the one. But you can see that some of the notes are not. So like this one is not even on on this part of the grid. This one isn't either, right? So that's called syncopation or unquantized per se. Like you're trying to make it unperfect on purpose. Now we got this sound, right? So like so it sounds cool. It sounds cool, but it's missing top end. It's missing like synths or a piano or stab something of some sort. And that's pretty much the job of the producer to see that problem or what it needs to take out so that we can determine the best outcome for the whole project, right? I'm just going to focus on arranging this so I can show the end result, and then I can talk about like some other things and tricks I did to improve it or whatnot, right? So trust the process. That's all I'm going to say. You see, getting the rhythm right is so important because without the rhythm right, people won't dance. Okay, so you see, I'm trying to fill in those gaps and not be in the way. What I'm seeing right now is this, right? I'm seeing these notes because this is the bass and this is taking some attention. If I draw attention there, I want to keep the attention there, right? I don't want it to be in the way of this. We're trying to make it all work together. So I'm going to try to match it with this one. And then if I keep it short, the note, it's going to make a different sound. So I'm going to put it short for a second, and it's going to create a different sound. You see? You see, it doesn't sound good, so then I'm going to keep it. What I try the most is to keep it simple, right? So like a lot of producers like to get crazy, and there's no problem with getting crazy, and most pop music actually is very crazy. Keeping it simple simplifies your life, and it simplifies your mixing, your mastering, your production, everything, right? So let's just keep it simple and take stuff away instead. Let's listen together. We got bum, 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 so it could be like that. And I'm actually gonna keep the kick over here, right? Because we want to keep the party going. And the sub is kind of weak. Like, no, I want something like in your face. This is called multi-band dynamics, or OTT. And what it does is essentially compresses your sound, right? But it can compress it in an upward compression, like it adds, or it can compresses it down, which usually compresses. That's what they do, compress down. But you can compress up. So yeah, let's do it. And this is gonna be very hard to listen on a phone, but if you have headphones, you can definitely hear it. It's sounding different when I change this. So. I feel like the sub is not correct, right? It's not right. It's just not the right sound, possibly. But like, let's see. Okay, I gotta change the sub because the sub is just not it for this situation. So I'm gonna change it real quick, but I'm gonna fast forward all this because it's too much. Like seriously, like I gotta sit down and kind of focus on it. So I'm gonna just fast forward it, and then I'll show you the end result. Good. So we're back because we've finally got something down, and it sounded pretty sick. Not gonna lie. The only things I changed was the bass and the structure of kind of the rhythm and all that because it just wasn't fitting. It just wasn't working with the track. And sometimes you gotta take those decisions where something might sound good, but you can make it sound better. So the previous sub was just doing do 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 do, but it wasn't sounding right. Check it out. It doesn't sound right, but this one sounds beefier, right? I just beefed it up. The same sound. The rhythm goes very like it's very cool. It's a very cool rhythm. I just fixed a little quadrant, that the drop, right? Now I got to go into like this second part of the drop and the break and all the rest, right? Because over here I got something different. So now you can get really, really creative with the sounds in the sense of like you can, for example, automate this. So like I have a reverb over here. Check this sound out. So I can mess with that. I can mess also with the size of the room. So if we go over here into MIDI and we actually move the knob, so the knob that we want to change, we want to change this one, right? The burb size. And we also want to change this one, the mix size, right? So now we both see them over here on our instrument. So I get out of here. I'm going to hit control and click on it, and I'm going to see it. Show automation. So now I can see all the automations of all the tracks, right? But I'm trying to do it only on the sound that I'm trying to edit. So here it is. It's at 24%. And I want it to gradually start going up. So I want it to go, like, you know, like kind of like just bring it in aggressively. So like over here. We go over here into our automation, and we're going to put how much of the reverb we want. So I'm going to put it, let's say 100%. We don't want it to be static all the time. We want it to be changing gradually over the time of the song. And I'm going to put it, let's say, you see now it's moving with the automation that I wrote down. And it's very cool because you can get really, really specific and actually make it very cool sounding. So like, let's check it out. So you see, so it sounds very cool, you know. It sounds very like you're adding your flavor to it. And I'm pretty much doing this, most of it random, you know, but I of course I know what kind of sound I'm trying to go for. Obviously, do everything with intent. Doing things random is fun, but it's not, you're trying to do it with a motive. So out here I am. You see how cool that sounds? Like you're making it pretty much, no one can make this, you know? Little bumps. I'm not going to do it so drastic. See? So this is pretty much on how to make your sound you know, sound more original and sound more like even more cool. So let's listen to the final thing. And we're going to keep it at there. If you want to learn more and you want to experiment more and actually learn some other tricks, feel free to follow my YouTube channel, subscribe, comment if you're trying to learn something specific, and like and share with others if you like the content. Keep it up.
loca que soñaron ya tu mujerón.
Ya lo pegué. Ya lo pegué.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Peace out.